Well, good morning everybody. Welcome back to a very beautiful and wild Orkney off the northern tip of Scotland. A fantastic little beach we found. Oh, the weather is wild this morning. We had a lot of wind overnight and we've parked up just at the back of these dunes in a great little spot with a toilet and warm water. Amazing. The light first thing this morning was gorgeous and I missed it. I wasn't expecting that on the first morning, but to be fair, this location is not one of the locations that I had planned to visit. It was more a location that we decided on purely on safety and not having the van rocking too much overnight because of the heavy wind and rain, and it keeps you awake when it's battering on the windows. So we hunkered down and this is where we ended up. I'll put a little pin on the map to show you where I am at this moment in time. We're on the eastern side of the island, which isn't that far from where we got off the ferry yesterday. But absolutely beautiful. I can't get over the light. It's really is quite special. Just over there, lots of little waders just dotted around on the beach. They look like dunlin. And sandpipers as well. I can hear a sandpiper then. Fantastic. Quite rolling landscape around here. If you look at the top of the hill there on the isle, on the headland, it's actually crops, farming community. Sand is gorgeous. Anyway, I'm waffling, so I'll get to the point. The reason that I came to Orkney was because of a video that I watched about 4 years ago, and it's taken me this long to get here. And that video, I'll put a link above, I'll put a link at the end of the video in the thumbnail and also in the description below, is by a chap called Ewan Dunsmuir, who I've got to know very well over the last few years. Now Ewan now lives in New Zealand, but he's originally from Orkney, grew up here as a lad, and his photography from here is just stunning. It really is. Lots of panoramas, which this landscape really lends itself to. Now that video, particularly the one that I watched, was a sad video for Ewan, a very sad video for him to make, but it really got under my skin. It just tells the story of his feelings and the place so well. I actually find it quite emotional to watch, so absolutely I urge you to go and watch that video, and please subscribe to his channel. It's a wonderful channel, some great photography.
This is Orkney, located 20 miles off the north coast of Scotland, not far off the Arctic Circle, and closer to Norway than it is to Edinburgh, the capital of Scotland. Now I know these islands really well, and I've been here many times recently for different reasons, but my main drawcard for coming back to Orkney all these times has just disappeared, and I'm concerned that this is a game changer. I've been here before taking photographs. The place is beautiful. Stromness, St Margaret's Hope, Rackwick, Pentland Skerries, Standing Stone Stennis, and the Warden Lancaster Hill, Island Ahoy, Orkney. Now this is the town I grew up in, Stromness. I have lots of good memories of Stromness, and Stromness growing up here, it's actually made me who I am, and I'm pretty comfortable with who I've become. But I need to reacquaint myself with Orkney without any distractions, and see Orkney for what it is exactly to me, and what it means to me. I have different reasons for coming home this time, so it's important that I relax and recuperate whilst doing a couple of important tasks this next week. I need to take stock, breathe in the fresh air, and take in everything I see, so that I can be assured that this isn't the last time I visit.
So my plans going forward are to just give you a bit of an insight into my time here. Not so much a travel log, but just snippets of the locations that I go to and the photographs that I take, which is really the important part as far as this channel is concerned. So whenever I get to a spot and the camera comes out, you can be rest assured that you'll be coming along for the ride. So thank you, Ewan, for bringing me here, and I will see the rest of you very soon. So I'm back on the same beach much quicker than I'd anticipated. The rain's starting now, it's just absolutely crazy conditions. Over, off, let me just darken that down if I can, can't see a thing. So off the headland, off to the right hand side, there's an island with a lighthouse on, and as the sun was coming up, it was casting a shaft of light down onto the right hand side of the island. It was beautiful, and as luck would have it, I had my 100mm macro lens on and I've been photographing some close-ups, so I spun it round onto the island. It was just the right distance to fill the frame with the island with a little bit of space on either side and get that shaft of light coming down. I had a polarizer on. It was shot at 6.7 and 200th of a second exposure time, and crucially the waves as they were crashing over, I thought that would be good to have as a foreground, and the first shot I took was of the waves just about to breach, I think that's the right word, but it presented a dark line in the foreground. So what I did was I waited till the water hit the deck and splashed back up, and then I got that nice filled in at the foot in the first part of the frame to be nice and correctly exposed. Now the whole thing is underexposed by one stop just to create a bit more mood and make sure I don't burn out the shaft of light. The rain's coming down really bad now, look at that. The rainbow behind me as well. This is what it's going to be like this week. It's going to be absolutely crazy. So I'm going to pack up, look at that. I'm going to pack up, and I'll see you in the next bit. Well, good evening everybody, welcome back. So I know it's only been a couple of seconds since I last spoke to you, but after that last piece of camera, the weather really closed in. The winds picked up the rest of the day, and it just the rain was immense from time to time, but the wind was just atrocious. And in the end we had to retreat to the other side of the island. The wind's coming up from the south, they're very, very strong at the moment. They've turned a little bit now, but we went to the other side of the island where it was much calmer and we didn't feel at risk of the van being blown over in the middle of the night. We certainly wouldn't get a good night's sleep. So I've come back to the rough side of the island, as it would be, at a place called Bursley Bay. Now the sun's just gone in, so I'm going to spin this round and show you. Merrick Head in the background is what I want to photograph towards, and what's really catching my eye, and you can't really miss them, to be fair. But look at all those lines, these geological features going out into the sea. Slabs of rock that have been pushed up just left these beautiful lines going into the ocean, and they make great leading lines, great foreground interest, and it's those that I want to photograph. Look at the rain coming down over there, that's what it's like here. It's just so dramatic. Little island over there. We've been on the island this afternoon, causeway across, but it's covered now. When the tide comes in you can't make it. It's another weather front coming in behind me. So yeah, as I said, the plan is to photograph these, and I really like the looks of this one here. Look at the patterns on that rock, absolutely beautiful. That would make a lovely foreground. But I've got an incoming tide, and if you've ever worked on the beach as a photographer, you'll know that you can never be too happy with a composition, because chances are you'll find something fantastic and then the sea will come in and you'll lose it just at that critical hour. The sun's not due to go down for a little while yet, so I can't be too choosy on what I want to photograph. But I have noticed that certainly there's the seaweed, the kelp, and the weed that's attached to the rocks, like here, you can see there, it sort of stops around here, and this black algae as well seems to peter out here, and then you've got bare rock here. So that suggests to me that this doesn't get covered as frequently. I'm sure it does from time to time, but I would suggest that that area there is covered pretty much every day. So I'm going to wait around and wait for the light to improve, and then pick a composition, and hopefully we'll get something nice. But this place is just drama after drama, and I also think they should rename it Rainbow Island. I've never seen as many rainbows in the space of 24 hours that I've seen here. Just unbelievable. Right, I will see you very soon. Right, so very quickly I'm going to get the shape my glasses with sea spray at the front of the lens is the same. No, it's not too bad. There's a big area of black cloud coming my way, so I thought I would just take a shot quickly. I got the camera set up all ready to go. I wanted to do this before that cloud came over, because I might not get out again after that, so I thought it's better to get something than nothing, and I quite like the fact that the sun's gone in. I am just going to take one now just quickly while I'm talking to you. I'm on f16 and a 15-second exposure, and I'm timing it for when this water engulfs around this rock to really soften that effect as the water's coming in around this lovely detailed rock that I mentioned. I've got a 45mm lens on, it's a 45 to 85 with a 45mm end, and I've got a 6-stop case neutral density filter on to give me that 15-second exposure. I've also got a 0.6 neutral density grad on the front there, so that's my current setup. And like I say, I've got 15-second exposure, and I'm going to try and show you the back of the camera for composition. In reality, it's not that blue, I have to say. I'll just brighten that up. Hopefully you can just about see that. But this rock coming in here makes a nice foreground interest. It's sort of something like that, the composition. So you've got this rock coming in from the left hand side, and this bit of rock here on the right, creating a nice triangle leading up to the Merrick Head in the distance there. So I'm going to put that shot on now. Hopefully it won't be the last time I see you, so I'll put that on now. I'm back out, and would you get a load of that? This is not unusual on Orkney as far as I can tell. You just get rid of one big storm cloud and another one rolls in. I talked to a chap this morning that said that October was the most dramatic time of the year for light and conditions, so I'm really pleased I'm here now when I am. So the shot that I took that you've just seen, I've been reviewing it on the back of the camera in the van, and I really like it, if I'm honest, and I don't think I'm going to improve on that at all this evening. We've got a strong onshore wind, and whilst my composition is still available, I'm not convinced that this little ramp, this slipway here, is safe to go down there, because the water's coming up way higher than what I would have thought it would, and I think tonight just might be one of those occasions when it really does come in quite high. My composition that you've just seen, I thought it was lovely. I got a similar patch of cloud off to the right hand side that just got rid of that harsh sunlight. We was approaching the golden hour. All the rocks otherwise were showing very harsh reflections on them. So once that put out the sun, I was able to shoot in what was almost a false blue hour. It really worked to my advantage, and as you could see, the rain was coming down from the cloud base into the sea, and then the big landmass on the left hand side there holding the distance all together with the clouds, and then of course all that lovely texture in the foreground with the water movement all around it. I really don't think I can improve on that at all. It's so rough out here, but the drama is just amazing. It's just something else, it really is. That's just, the colour of that is black. You get that with the coloured sea, the blue sea, something else. So I'm going to hang around for another half hour until the light's completely gone. The chances are I won't photograph anything else, but if I come back to you, obviously there's something, but other than that you'll probably see me next at a new location. Good morning everybody. So I decided, based on the weather forecast last night, that I would give this location another shot. The satellite imagery for the clouds were for a huge amount of clouds off to the west, which is my left hand side now as I'm walking down this road, and clear off to the east where the sun's rising, and that can only spell one thing in my book, and that's glorious light, lovely lit clouds, and potentially a great photograph. As I walk down here, you can see that's the view off to the place where the sun's rising, off to the east there, and there is more cloud than I was hoping for, but you can't be too fussy in these circumstances. It's not bad. Trouble is, again, the tide typically is all wrong. It's quite well, it's highest at 8:30 this morning, and sunrise is 7:30. It's now 7:15. I'm about a 5-minute walk to get into location. The wind thankfully has calmed down a little bit. The sea looks very rough though still, and it still feels very dark and lonely out here. I've just left the village behind and the van, the warmth and comfort of the van, and there's just me and very little else, and a lighthouse, lovely lighthouse. Can't beat a lighthouse flashing on the horizon. Great warning for many a sailor. Right, I will see you when I get into position. To hunker down. As luck would have it, there's a bit of a shelter at the top of the beach. Can't see through my glasses, it's wet through. When it rains here, it really does rain, but not like at home where the rain comes literally down, it comes horizontal, so if you can find a wall, you can get out of it. Cool. It batters your face, stings. It'll pass. See blue sky directly above me, but the cloud with the rain in is somewhere over there. Yeah, it's just madness. I had hoped I could get out here and get this done and stay dry, but Orkney's got better ideas. So the rain has fortunately stopped, and I've managed to get out to have a look what the situation is. Now, I will just point out that that camera looks very dark now, but I've changed the setting onto the normal daylight setting. It's got a remarkable thing, this little camera, in that if you put it on auto, for whatever reason it's got this extra sensitivity and it picks up the slightest bit of light, which is what I've been using so far this morning. But what you're seeing now is actually what it's really like. It's very, very dark, quite imposing place to be, if that's the right word. It feels very, very exposed, very dangerous. But where the camera's positioned, it's the little slipway, so I've definitely got a nice safe escape route, so I am safe even though I'm on my own. So the sea certainly looks calmer this morning, and what time is it now? It's the seal bobbing around over there, having a look. Time is 12 minutes past 7, sunrise is I think 7:36. There's quite a lot of cloud now. Since I've got out that little hut, there's quite a lot of cloud on that side. I'm hoping that that's a bit of an illusion and there's still that break as the satellite map suggested, and I am going to get the colour. But the last couple of days have certainly taught me one lesson, and that's you can never predict the weather here. And every morning there's been this just amazing luminous glow over the landscape when the sun comes up, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that that is very typical and not something that's quite unusual. The location that I shot last night is just over there. I'm still not sure whether I want to go there yet, but I've got these rocks here as a fallback if I feel the tide's still coming in and it's not worth taking the risk. It's definitely not as nice as the one I had yesterday, but I suppose you could argue that it's something different at least, and I'm not just doing the same shot at a different time of day. So I'm going to just hang around now and keep the kit on and wait and see whether this light materialises. There's a little bit of slight bit of colour in the upper atmosphere clouds there, but not a lot. So fingers crossed, I'll start the waiting game. So I've been watching the tide really carefully, and this little spot where I've come to, which is my spot from last night, whilst it floods occasionally, because the onshore wind isn't aggressive, I can almost manage the situation. But I'm actually questioning whether it is an incoming tide now and whether it might have changed. It does flood occasionally like this, but more often than not I get the feeling that they're moving that way. The tide table that is given, or shall I say the tide times that is given, are not for this exact location, and there's potentially a 40-minute difference between high tide where the location was given and where I am now, so it may have already peaked at this location. That's the feeling I'm getting. So I think it's a risk worth taking. I think it's a very, very low risk and a manageable risk. And sunrise is now, so I'm setting up and grabbing some while I can. Some beautiful light on that foreground rock. Settings wise, I'm on f16. I've got a 3-stop neutral density filter to slow down the water. I'm on 45mm again like I was last night, and I'm just underexposing by 1/3 of a stop, just to make sure that I retain the colours, the beautiful colours that are materialising in the sky above. Now, one thing I'm not tempted to do is I'm not tempted to run around trying to get lots of different shots. I invested a good bit of time here last night finding the right composition, and I'm happy with this and I'm going to stick with it. I see a little point in getting mediocre shots when I feel the best one is right here. So every time that water comes in, I'll wait for it to recede, and the minute as it's rushing out, I'll take the shot and do the exposure. The light's catching on that rock now, really lovely. So I just need another one of those to come in, or something like that, as long as it gets below the lens, the focusing point, and grab a shot as all that turbulence is moving around the rock. Beautiful, really nice, it's looking fantastic. Right, I will get back to you in a little while. So I've retreated to the upper part of the beach. I think I've got the best of what I can. You can see my rock just down there, still getting the water around it, but look at the sky. The sky has lost that colour, so it was a good call to get down there when I did. I think I've got the best of it. The sunrise now, it's 8 o'clock, so often we get beautiful deep oranges round about this time, but I think that bank of cloud that I talked about earlier on has got in the way, and the sun's gone up behind that. Certainly nice and safe where I am, but if you look at all this kelp here, this wasn't here last night with that strong tide, that strong incoming wind as well, but there's nothing up here, so had I come down here last night, I could have still got back to the slipway. So it is actually safer than I thought last night, and I would have been alright, but you just can't take those chances when you don't know the beach. But certainly this morning a lot safer. Yeah, really happy with that shot. Got some lovely light on that rock, really beautiful. In fact, I want to show you one of the versions of the image now. I've got it up on the back of the camera. Yeah, so again, very, very blue representation. It's not as blue as that in reality, but yeah, it's this rock here leading in is really lovely, leading into the landmass. And then I would have preferred, I suppose, a bit more of this rock to have been showing, but the water's covered it up on most of the exposures. A little bit more of it showing there, but if I scroll back through, get some more back here. I love that one there with the S-curve of the water, but look at this one here, look at the light on that rock. That's quite possibly my favourite, and you can't see on this view, but here the sky is beautifully pink. So I've got a good number of images to choose from. That one there, another one, look at that beautiful colour, and also this wave here in the distance. So I'll probably going to head back to the van now and get some breakfast, and I'll leave you with that shot.